4 takeaways. What the Saints' disheartening loss to the Rams really means. We are reacting today. This video was sent to me on Twitter. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're not following me on Twitter, what are you doing? It's the fastest way to reach the man behind the fastest rising channel in New Orleans sports media. Let's go ahead and get right into the video, shall we?
It's possible to have a little bit of optimism about the Saints heading to Los Angeles. They had won 2 in a row, but then the Rams' opening drive goes 95 yards for a touchdown, and you quickly remembered the 2-game win streak was against the Panthers and the Giants.
First drive wasn't even the problem. The first drive for the Rams wasn't the issue. The issue was the first drive for the Saints, and then the second drive for the Saints. Punting from the Rams 37, then turning around and going for it on 4th and 5 and not getting it. Those were the problems. The Saints defensively was kind of whatever, but the issue, as it's been all year long, was if you go 1 for 8 on your first 8 possessions against a really good team on the road, not every team does what the Giants does. Not every team does what the Panthers does, and just not score, right? You have to score. You have to start fast. The Saints have yet to, with 2 games remaining, they have yet to score a touchdown on the opening possession. Unbelievable. That is the problem. That has been the problem all year long, and it will continue to be the problem as long as Pete Carmichael and Dennis Allen are on the sidelines.
Who are NFL scrubs. The Rams, meanwhile, are a good team, a legitimate playoff team, and simply put, the Saints were beaten soundly on both sides of the ball. Now, the one positive thing you can say about Dennis Allen, and that's where we start our 4 takeaways, is the Saints played hard for DA.
Okay, controversial. Now, it is an old adage, word of the day, that when players play hard, they're always playing hard for the coach. That's not always the case, okay? That's not always the case. Sometimes players play hard for themselves. Players play hard for the quarterback. Players play hard for each other. Players play hard for the fans. Players play hard for the city. Players play hard for their own pride. So it's not always Dennis Allen, all right? It's not always that he is instilling some kind of motivation or he's doing something to get this reaction from the Saints. I don't think Dennis Allen had anything to do with how hard the Saints played at the end of the Rams game, and I don't think it has anything to do with how hard the Saints played all season long.
Even when the game was over, or certainly seemed over, the Saints never quit. The fourth quarter rally does mean something. Dennis Allen inspires a level of fight in his team that's admirable. But let's be honest, I
don't think it does. I have to push back. I know we're only on the first takeaway. I know we're only on the first key here. Because, let's really break this down, right? Let's break down what he's saying. This young man is saying that Dennis Allen has these guys highly motivated. If they were highly motivated, why are they getting dog walked to start games? If they are highly motivated, why is the defense giving up a ton of yards and a ton of points in the first half of games? If they're highly motivated, why can't we score on the first possession? So is he only motivating them when they're down 30-7 in prime time? Or is he only motivating them when they're down 21-0 at home in the first 30 seconds of the game, like the Detroit game? Is he only motivating them when they're down 24-3 at halftime, like the Vikings game? If he is a great motivator and he is a great man manager, why does it take 30-7 for them to get motivated? So I buy, I would say virtually none of this. I don't think it has anything to do with Allen. I think there's a lot of other factors, but I don't think it's a rah-rah gladiator speech from Dennis Allen when they're down almost 40 points in prime time that's getting them motivated.
Anyone really think the Saints had a chance to rally and win this game? I think the answer to that question is no. Playing hard, even when down big, is a common theme. But you know what else is a common theme? The Saints are just not good enough to beat good teams. That has been...
Yeah, fact. I mean, look, that's kind of... We talked about this after the Rams game in our own recap, was that I think we can safely say now that we're this far into the season, I think you can safely say, look, the Saints just aren't a great team. The Saints just aren't there. At the beginning of the year, before the season, we were talking about it like, look, the Saints have a great roster. Kamara could be a top 5, top 10 running back. Michael Thomas can do this. Chris Olave can do this. Derek Carr, could he possibly get back to that world where he was getting MVP votes? If not that, maybe a top 12 quarterback. Oh, the defense can also be top 5. They can be elite. When we were talking about all that, it's like, yeah, sweet. Sounds awesome. Sounds like this team is very good, right? In reality, Derek Carr has been below average. Alvin Kamara and the entire running game hasn't been able to get going at all. Michael Thomas is hurt. Chris Olave's had a down year. And the defense is average to below average. So when you look at it, as we look at it today with 2 games remaining, we don't run the ball, or we can't run the ball. We can't stop the run. Our secondary is injured. We have no pass rush at all. We cannot push the ball downfield. We cannot score points. We don't start fast, and we don't close. So when you look at it like that, no, we're not a good team. And when we play good teams, we don't beat them. That's how the cookie crumbles. You know, we aren't the worst team. That has been proven. The worst teams are the Giants and the Panthers, teams like that. We're not that, but we certainly aren't in the same conversation as some of these playoff teams. Fringe playoff teams in the AFC. Who are your fringe playoff teams? Buffalo? Cleveland? Are we anything like them? No. In the NFC, the Rams, I think we got our answer Thursday night. The Seahawks? No. We're nothing like those teams. We're just not up to snuff. We're not there yet. We're not on the same level. That was something where we did kind of overvalue, hype up, drink the Kool-Aid, smoke the hopium, however you want to phrase it. We did do that before the season. And it was a perfect storm because every single facet of this team has disappointed.
Been proven out all season. Now, the Saints are clearly better than the NFL's bottom feeders. They are 6-0 against these bad teams. But in 3 games against good teams, and I think the Rams are a really good team, the Saints are now 0-3. But here's the thing.
That's something else. I mean, that's something else where, like, if you look at the scrubs, like this young man has up here, we played the Titans with Ryan Tannehill, who's now benched. We played the Bears with Tyson Bagent, who is not, starting anymore. Obviously, Justin Fields back. Played the Bears before they traded for Montez Sweat. We played the Giants with Tommy DeVito, who's now benched. So even the scrubs, if Justin Fields is playing for the Bears in this game, I think we lose that game. And if Will Levis and the Titans were playing us now, do we win 17-16, whatever the final was? Do we win that game? I don't know. Even the Panthers, yes, we're better than the Panthers. The Patriots, we're better than the Patriots. But Tennessee, New York, and Chicago, we caught them at a favorable time. And then if you look at the good, I'm not even sure Jacksonville should be in the good. Jacksonville should probably be in the middle. But you could throw Houston in there. Minnesota should be in this middle area. Well, I guess he's about to do the middle.
Against the middle of the pack, the Saints.
Yeah, I would have Houston probably. Houston should be with Jacksonville. So Jacksonville should probably be in the middle. I don't think Jacksonville should be in the good.
Saints are 1-5. This math tells you the Saints are better than the bad, but not as good as the mediocre. And they surely do not look like a playoff team. Like every New Orleanian, I wish they were, but they are just not. And what really struck me Thursday night was how badly Sean McVey beat Dennis Allen head-to-head.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure why this surprised this young man, because McVey is, and let me, I always talk about offense. And I always talk about quarterbacks. I always talk about the offensive play callers. I always talk about the offensive coordinators and whoever else. And people are always like, well, what about the defense? What about other positions? The NFL in today's day and age is so offensively driven. Look at the Kansas City Chiefs. The Kansas City Chiefs have by far, the best defense they've ever had in the Patrick Mahomes era. This is the worst version of the Chiefs in the Patrick Mahomes era. They have lost more games. They've blown more games. Their offense is inept. They just lost to the Raiders, and the Raiders didn't complete a pass after the first quarter. So if you want your example of why it's important to have a really good offense in 2023, take a look at the Chiefs. Take a look at them, because they were given an elite, stellar defense. And look what they're doing. Look what it did to the Kansas City Chiefs. So I say that to say, when you have an A-plus offensive coach like Sean McVay, and you have a average to above average defensive coach in Dennis Allen, you see what it looks like. Dennis Allen was embarrassed in this game. His defense was embarrassed. Alontae Taylor was sat down. They told Alontae Taylor to take his shoes off because of what Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp did to him. The Rams completed a pass to 4 people in the game. 4. Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua, Demarcus Robinson, Tyler Higbee. And the Saints couldn't stop it. They ran one guy, basically, Kyren Williams. Matthew Stafford, not mobile quarterback at all. They might as well have given the Saints the offensive playbook, and it wouldn't have mattered. McVey's the man. McVey's a hell of a coach. McVey is one of the elite coaches, and our coaches can't adjust on either side of the ball. Dennis Allen, defensive guru, whatever, he knew what was going to happen. He knew Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp were getting the ball. And they could have done whatever they wanted. Puka Nacua could have named his total. He could have said, you know what, I want 250 yards today. He was going to go get it. It was a horrible performance. Horrible. And Dennis Allen has been, I mean, really, since what, week 3? Week 4? Has the defense been good? Has the defense been even average? So the idea that he's some, defensive god, some defensive specialist, some, whatever, it's just not the case. It just has not been the case this year. And don't even get me started on Pete Carmichael. We all know the problems there. Sean McVey and the Rams, 11 of their 15 drives this season they've scored. 11 of their 15 opening drives they've scored. That is play calling. That is scheming. That is game plan. Flip it the other way. The Saints have yet to score a touchdown. That's all you need to know.
He runs the Rams offense. Allen runs the Saints defense. They went head to head every time the Rams had the ball. And Sean McVey won that battle big. And I think it influenced all of Dennis Allen's decision making. He tried an onside kick. He went for it on 4th down 3 times. Those things are all uncharacteristic of Dennis Allen. He said
Dennis Allen, the decisions, the 4th downs and stuff, the way Allen did it, to me, felt like Mike McCarthy a couple years ago, just doing it to do it. Absolutely no rhyme or reason at all of what you're doing there. Like, he was just kind of going for it to go for it, onside kick to onside kick. The onside kick at the end of the game made no sense at all. Like, over 4 minutes left, you're a one possession game, a field goal might as well be a touchdown. You give them the ball at midfield. Why? Some of the 4th down before half, like whatever it is, a minute left. You go for it on 4th down, just punt it. What are you trying to do? They get the ball to start the second half. Why give them an opportunity? You kneel the ball out to end the second half. It's obvious that he cannot make those intricate coaching decisions. He might as well have just been flipping a coin.
he was being aggressive, but those decisions felt more desperate to me than aggressive.
Agreed.
Here are the 3 best quarterback performances against the Saints this season. Baker Mayfield had a great day.
Man, Josh Dobbs needs to be on here. Josh Dobbs was unbelievable against the Saints. And now Josh Dobbs is, updating his LinkedIn profile. Josh Dobbs should be on here.
Beating the Saints back in October. So did.
And we know quarterback rating is not the end-all be-all. Like we know that it's a faulty stat.
Jared Goff in November, but Matthew Stafford's 120.7 is the best quarterback rating against the Saints this season. Stafford picked the Saints apart. And here are the 3 best rushing efforts against the Saints this season. Atlanta's Bijan Robinson ran for 91 yards against the Saints. The Colts' Jonathan Taylor ran for 95. And Thursday night, Kyren Williams ran for 104. Again, that means the Rams had the best passing effort of the year against the Saints and the best running effort of the year against the Saints. Sean McVey won the battle of head-to-head, and he won it big, which leads me to number 1, which is what happens after the season. Here are a few facts.
Allen's got to go. Easy, right? Allen's got to go. Carmichael's got to go. We have seen now 2 full seasons of Allen, this Dennis Allen experience. He has failed to win a terrible division. He has not met expectations. He's way flown under. I mean, the fact that we're fighting for our lives to be 500 with the easiest schedule in the NFL in the worst division in the NFL is unbelievable, especially after paying a quarterback $150 million. I mean, like, I know Derek Carr is a polarizing topic. I understand that. But if the Browns didn't succeed this year, no one would blame them, right? They had injuries. Nick Chubb got hurt. Deshaun Watson's problems, all that stuff. Joe Flacco comes in, looks like Joe Montana, right? The Bucs. No one would have blamed the Bucs if they didn't succeed. They went from Tom Brady to Baker Mayfield. Look what's going on over there. You know, like, there is no excuse for the Saints. There's no excuse for how they're playing right now. Allen has shown you exactly who he is as a head coach. The worst record for a head coach for the longest period of time, Dennis Allen. They've given him every opportunity. We're not making a knee-jerk reaction fire here. We've given him a ton of chances. Everyone's given him chances. The Raiders have given him chances. We've given him chances. He just flat out can't do it. Flat out cannot be a head coach. And that's okay. That's okay. Let him go be a defensive coordinator. There have been plenty of head coaches who get fired, who go back to being a coordinator and find success. Steve Spagnuolo, Jim Schwartz, a lot of people. There's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with knowing where you are good, knowing where you fit in. No hate for Dennis Allen. He's just not a head coach. So get rid of him. That's what they have to do. That's what the future is. The future is get rid of Allen, get rid of Carmichael, get a new vision in there, get a new culture in there, get something new in there. We've seen it. We've seen how fast a new coach or a new quarterback or whatever can change a franchise. All right, Mike McDaniel in Miami, Zach Taylor and Joe Burrow in Cincinnati, Doug Peterson in Jacksonville, Sean McVey with the Rams, Kyle Shanahan in San Francisco. It takes a good quarterback, takes a good head coach, good head coach, good quarterback, good play caller. That can change a franchise in a heartbeat. Dan Campbell, Jared Goff in Detroit. Like that. Like that. Sean Payton in New Orleans. I mean, look at what Sean Payton and Drew Brees did in New Orleans. Created a whole new culture. Redefined the franchise. When you think about the Saints, do you think about the Aints days anymore? No, you think about the Sean Payton, Drew Brees era. That is the New Orleans Saints. They redefined a franchise. It's what we got to do.
Saints have one of the NFL's oldest rosters, and they played one of the weakest schedules in the league, and they're under 500, and they've been outclassed by every good team they have played this year. Those are facts, and I don't see how you can spin those facts into a plan to keep this coaching staff in place. The Saints were slightly below mediocre last year in football's weakest division, and they're slightly below mediocre this year in football's weakest division. And there is no evidence that things are getting better or would ever get better without large-scale changes. I'm not convinced the changes will come, but I am definitely convinced at this point that they should. And I think the overwhelming majority of Saints fans and season ticket holders believe that too. And that's my 4 takeaways from the disheartening loss to the Rams.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, everyone believes that Allen and Carmichael got to go. The question is, does that include Mickey Loomis? That is the question. Does Mickey Loomis believe that? And it's hard for me to believe unless it's just gross negligence, unless it's just complete apathy. It's hard for me to believe that Loomis can see the results, hear the boos, hear how angry the fan base is. It's hard for me to believe that. He sees all that, hears all that, and he's still going to stick with this coaching staff. I really do believe Allen and Carmichael are gone. I really do believe Loomis is going to do the right thing. It's not going to be this week. It's not going to be next week. We're going to have to wait until the end of the regular season, and then we're going to see if there's going to be changes. But it's just hard for me to believe we're going to run this back for a third year when we know exactly what the coaching staff is going to deliver. Good video, though. Thank you for sending that to me on Twitter. Again, guys, social media, all my accounts are down below in the description. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video.